Dear participants, foremost, I would like to welcome you all for this a very special session. I, Dilip Kumar, Organizing Secretary, hereby I would like to welcome and introduce you all to one of the proficient person striving hard and always lending help and to fellow physical educationists and students to consistently contribute the subject. Dr. P. Karthikeyan is a friend, philosopher, and a guide to many aspirants like me who are seeking to make an impression in the field of physical education. Under the guidance of Dr. P. Karthikeyan, 8 research scholars have obtained their PhDs, and more than 58 students have got their MPhil degree. So, has participated more than 100 conferences as a resource person, keynote speaker, and has also presented a paper. Sir has authorized 2 books and published many papers in UGC listed and Scopus Journal. I, on behalf of organizing committee of the international conference, welcome you and render your keynote address on research and statistics and easy approach. Over to you, sir.
I'm very happy to be here as a keynote speaker for this session, for this interdisciplinary international conference on decoding aliphatic components of health, performance, and well-being, which is to be conducted between 9, 10, and 11th August of this year, 2021. Organized by Papu Degree College, Yaswantapura, Bangalore, with the association with Physical Education Foundation of India, Karnataka chapter, Life Saving Sports Federation of India, and Elite Sports Academy. So I want to thank the management authorities of Papu Degree College and the Physical Education Foundation of India, Karnataka chapter, Life Saving Sports Federation of India, and Elite Sports Academy for their wonderful opportunity for me to give a keynote address for this international conference. Personally, I thank Mr. Dilip, the physical director of Papu Degree College, for his wonderful approach with me regarding this keynote address. Thank you so much. Today, I want to share some of the things which is very much needed in our physical education field. That is research and statistics, an easy approach. I want to tell you, I want to explain you with the applications especially. I will put some of the things in research, ideas of research, and also I want to insist the application of statistics in research from basics to advanced, because most of the persons are worrying about statistics. First, what is research? This is my 22nd year of experience as a teacher. As far as my observation is concerned, the persons who have come to do the research, all they are worrying about the thing. First thing, they are worrying about the steps in research. Second thing, they are worrying about the statistics. So I want to eradicate that kind of fear. I want to remove that kind of fear with our students. So that only I have taken this topic. First, I want to explain what is research. Research is a systematic effort to gain knowledge. Colloquially, we can say research is finding a new solution for the problem. Every research must have some problem. Finding solution to the problem is known as research. That's all. So as a researcher, what you need to have? You need to have one problem. That's called the research problem. Or otherwise, you may think, what are the questions you have in your mind while you are approaching the research? You can find out the answer for that particular question that may be converted into a research, or through research you can get an answer for your question. So the research is a systematized effort to gain new knowledge. And what is called the systematized? Collecting and analyzing information or data. So this collecting and analyzing has some systematic steps or process. That's called the research. Why do you want to do the research? What for research? Do you have any desire to get a research degree? Yes, that you can do research. Do you have any desire to face the challenges in solving unsolved problems? Yes, you can do research because there are so many unsolved problems out there. You can take it. For example, I am a ball badminton player. As a ball badminton player, I had a very big question. Because what is that question? Most of the players who are leading 2 points or 3 points and they are dominating in their game. So the strategy behind the game is to move forward 2 to 3 points. So I want to know the psychological aspects of the players when an opponent moves 2 points lead or 3 points lead, and why this kind of lacknesses are there. Because I'm handling women ball badminton team, which are always doing the same thing. So I wanted to do the research in that particular thing. That's called the unsolved problems. Okay, then somebody may have a desire to get an intellectual joy of doing some creative work. So all the time, that kind of persons wanted to do some research to get an intellectual upgrades. They wanted to update their intellectual knowledge. So they will go for research. And somebody may have a desire to be a service to society, like this pandemic situation. So many research organizations are doing research against that particular virus to find out the vaccine. So this is what for research. And in research process, from the beginning to the end, what are all the steps? If you understand this kind of research process, definitely the doing research and also with the application of statistics will be very, very easy. Okay, how to begin with the research? First of all, you have to formulate the research problem. What is called a problem? I told you already, no? Research problem is unsolved questions. Unsolved questions. So you have to take it out. And you have to structure that kind of problem in a systematic way. That is known as formulation of research problem. After finding out, after formulating the research problem, you have to go for a review. Review means collecting the findings of previous research. Previous research findings, you have to collect it. That's called the review. As a researcher, as a guide, I can say that this review chapter is the heart of the thesis. Heart of the thesis means this will play a major role in your thesis. So you have to concentrate more on the review of related literature. Why? Because after formulating a research problem, you have to get a knowledge from the previous researchers. What are all the methodologies they had followed, and what are all the test items they have followed, which is very related to our topic. So all the knowledges you can take it out from the previous research. That is called the review. So after formulating the research problem, you have to concentrate on review of related literature. After getting a knowledge from the previous findings, you have to do a methodological part. What is called methodology? What are the methods which you are going to follow in your research? That is called the methodology. So that only I mentioned as defined population and sample. What are all the samples you are going to take? What are the nature of the subject should be explained in this area, and what are the variables that is called independent variable, dependent variable, and like that. After choosing that independent variable and the dependent variable, and what are the tests you are going to select for testing the dependent variables. So these are the methodological part you can able to formulate. These ideas can be obtained from the review of literature. So that only I told you now, after formulating the research problem, you must concentrate on collecting the reviews to get an idea about the methodology to be adopted for your research. Okay, now we have framed all the methodological parts, testing procedure, training procedures, everything we have formulated. After that, what you have to do? You have to go for collection of data. That is collection of information. Okay, based on the nature of the study, it will be varied. So after collecting the data, you have to go for analyzing the data with the appropriate statistics. You have to analyze with an appropriate statistics. Choosing an appropriate statistics will yield a better results. That is called the interpretations and reporting. Okay. After analyzing with the suitable statistics, you can able to conclude the research findings. That will be an end of your research. So these are all of the research process. In a brief way, I can able to tell you again, in the research process, you have to begin with formulating research problem, then collecting some of the reviews which is very related with you, then formulating methodological part based on the ideas which you have got it from the reviews. After that, go for collection of data, then choosing an appropriate statistics, the interpretations and the reporting, then finding conclusion. This is called the research process. Now come to statistics. What is statistics? Statistics is a science of average. Yeah, simply you can say it is an average. And if you want to define very technically, statistics may be defined as the collection, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of the numerical data. Because you have to collect the data. After collecting the data, you have to make a presentation. Presentation means systematically you have to arrange the data. After that, you can able to analyze. From the analysis, you can get some of the interpretation, so that it may be defined as the collection, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of the numerical data, which is called the statistics. And why do we need to have statistical knowledge? One, if you don't have any statistical knowledge in the research, we can't able to plan and design our own research experiment. So to plan and design our own research experiment, we need to have some statistical knowledge. And the statistical knowledge will help to know which types of statistical tests to apply the given data for research, which is an opt statistical method you can able to follow in your research. So that we need to have some statistical knowledge. This knowledge of statistical is essential for the people going to do the research, and the basic understanding of statistics is very useful for conducting investigation and an effective presentation. So not only in the conducting investigation, for an effective presentation also we need to have a statistical knowledge. Now come to types of statistics. First one is descriptive statistics, comparative statistics, relationship statistics, inferential statistics, and predictive statistics. These are the 5 major types of statistics. Now, one way we can see. First one is descriptive statistics. The status or a characteristic of a single group is interpreted through this descriptive statistics. The common descriptive statistics is an average, that is called the mean and standard deviation. These are all coming under descriptive statistics. To calculate the average weight or height for the students in a class, the mean of each item or the physical appearance test in a class is an example for the descriptive statistics. So from the mean and standard deviation, we may have this kind of descriptive statistics. Then comparative statistics. In comparative statistics, the characteristics of 2 or more groups are to be compared. Minimum, you need to have 2 groups. The maximum, any number of groups. So for comparative statistics, the characteristics of 2 or more groups are to be compared. Say for an example, T ratio and F ratio. That's called T test and F ratio. Okay. And third one is relationship statistics. Relationship statistics is to find out the relationship between 2 different characteristics of a single group. So that only I told the factors or the traits of the same group are to be calculated by using different kinds of correlation statistics, which we commonly use the product moment correlation and the rank order correlation for the relationship statistics. And fourth one is inferential statistics. In the inferential statistics, the data collected from the samples will be analyzed, and the particular results which we have arrived are used to generalize the characteristics of a population. Very simple, we can say we are going to infer the results of the population from the samples. We are going to test only the samples and the results will be used or generalized for the population. That is the purpose of inferential statistics. Very best example for inferential statistics is the election results. So some of the pre-polling analysis will be released by the famous magazine. They will do this inferential statistics. They will go and get the information from the samples here and there, and they will generalize these results as the characteristics of the population, entire population. Yeah, that's called inferential statistics. And the last one is predictive statistics. In the predictive statistics, the unknown facts of the individual are predicted from the known measurable quality. Very simple one. If a person is having more height, if he is very tall, and we can able to predict ourselves that he may be a very good volleyball player and a basketball player. So the characteristics, height, will help to predict you for choosing the game. That is called predictive statistics. Okay, fine. Now coming to the main arena, the application of statistics, that is use of statistics. Okay, first one, the measures of central tendency. In major, there are three measures of central tendency, which is called mean, median, mode. And all the three measures of central tendency are all known as average. The definition of all the measures of the central tendency is known as average. But in different aspects, it will be differed. But the most valid test in the measures of central tendency is mean. And measures of variabilities are concerned, the standard deviation is most valid test. Even though there are four measures of variability, this standard deviation is the most stringent measure to measure the variability. Then measures of relationship. We commonly use these two product moment correlation and rank order correlation, and we can able to find out the relationship between two different characteristics of a single group. Now I'm just explaining what is what. Okay, I didn't touch the application. The next slide we will see, and the next one is use of goodness of fit. That's called the chi-square. Chi-square, we can able to find out the relationship between the expected frequency and the observed frequency. Okay, then the next one is a T ratio. In T ratio, there are two kinds of T ratio. One is independent T ratio and one is a dependent T ratio. And the minimum, we need two groups for this T ratio. Okay. Okay. And if we have three groups, what it would be? It will be an ANOVA. That's called the F ratio. If there is only two groups, we may have T ratio, and if there are more than two groups, we may have ANOVA or one-way analysis of variance or F ratio. Okay, fine. The next stage of ANOVA, that's called two-way ANOVA or three-way ANOVA. Two-way ANOVA means there are two factors are involved. There will be two factors. That is called the A factor and B factor. And three-way means there will be three factors, A, B, C. So in this slide, you can able to observe that 2 into 2 factorial ANOVA. 2 into 2, which reflects, first 2 reflects for A factor and second 2 reflects for B factor. So how many subdivisions are there? Okay, so 2 into 2, A factor 2, B factor 2. There also A factor 3, that is B factor 2. And three-way means in A factor, there are two subdivisions, which is called C factor. Okay, that is called 2 into 2 into 2. In major, A factor is classified into 2, and B factor is also classified into 2. Among A factor, A1, A2 is there, and A1 will be classified into 2. That's called C1, C2. So A, B, C. After this ANOVA is there, you need to have the knowledge of follow-up test, which is called a post-hoc test, which has the purpose of finding out the per mean differences, if any. And the next stage of ANOVA is UNCOVA. That's called analysis of covariance. So if you want to find out the training effects by comparing 2 or 3 trainings, you can use this UNCOVA. Okay, one variable, group 1, group 2, group 3, and that group 1 before testing and after training program, and group 2 also the same one, before training and after training, group 3 before training, after training. If you have this kind of structure, you may have this UNCOVA. Okay, fine. So very important thing is how to choose statistics. You have to choose the statistics by knowing the purpose. First, you know the purpose, whether it is a comparison, a relationship, or a prediction, whatever it is. Based on the types of statistics, you may have to classify the purposes. After that, you have to establish how many groups. Then you can choose of the appropriate statistics. After choosing while you are choosing an appropriate statistics, you must think about the number of the subject, because the samples, the size of the samples decides the deviation. Okay, okay, fine. First, if my purpose is to find out the relationship, means I can use this product level calculation. Okay, so these are some of the examples. First one is relationship between two different characteristics of a single group is the definition of product level correlation. So that may be the purpose. Now, just to see the research example, I am going to find out the relationship between two different characteristics. First characteristic is height, another characteristic is shooting ability. Here, single group, only one group, basketball. I have chosen only basketball players. Association means relationship. There are two different characteristics of single group. That's called basketball players. So the purpose is to find out the relationship. So I'm going to choose this product woman correlation. If my purpose is to have another one, that is the relationship between the judgments given by two different judges for a single variable. Say for an example, Kabaddi playing performance was judged by two different judges, and they have given judgments. So I want to correlate whether any bias are there with the two different judges. I can see here that the research example is given with a women cricket players. So the playing ability, or that is batting ability of women cricket players were judged by two different judges. Okay, so if my purpose is like that, I can use this rank order correlation. If I am having a comparison, so I may have two different independent groups. Here, sprinters and long jumpers are two different independent groups, and one variable I have chosen as speed. So that my research example is a comparative study of speed between sprinters and long jumpers. Two different independent groups can be compared with one variable. We can, in this area, we can choose T ratio as an appropriate statistics. So more than two independent group means, already we have seen, we have to use this F ratio. That's called the ANOVA. Here you just see hand-eye coordination is the only one variable. How many groups are there? University men badminton, university men ball badminton, and university men tennis players. In this situation, we have to use F ratio. Okay. That two-way ANOVA. Comparison of two independent groups with more than one independent variable. Okay, here comparison of speed among school boys and girls, and basketball players and handball players. So there are four categories: boys basketball players, school boys handball players. There are two, and in girls also, girls basketball, girls handball. There are four categories. Here we have to go for 2 into 2 factorial ANOVA. That's called two-way ANOVA. So from that, what you are getting an information that based on the purposes, we can able to identify the research that is appropriate statistics. So based on the purpose, you can able to choose the appropriate statistics. So with this, I conclude myself that very nice opportunity they are given, Upper Degree College. I wish the organizing committee members of this interdisciplinary international conference for their wonderful success. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We all know how important research methods and statistics is for us. Thank you for enlightening and empowering us to pursue future research work. Once again, I thank you for your keynote address on behalf of organizing committee on research, statistic, and easy approach. Thank you, Dr. P. Karthikeyan, sir. Thank you.